On January 7, 2026, a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) agent in Minneapolis, Minnesota fatally shot a 37-year-old woman during a federal enforcement operation, triggering intense public debate and political conflict over federal law enforcement practices and local community safety. The woman, later identified by multiple outlets as Renee Nicole Good, was shot in the street in a residential neighborhood after a confrontation with ICE officers. She was pronounced dead after being flown to a hospital. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem defended the ICE agent's actions, portraying the incident as a violent escalation during an enforcement operation. Noem said the woman had been stalking and impeding ICE agents throughout the day and refused repeated orders to stop obstructing their work. According to federal officials at press briefings, the operation had been underway when an ICE vehicle became stuck in snow and officers encountered a group of people nearby. The woman's vehicle was described as blocking officers and allegedly used in a dangerous manner against them. Noem labeled the behavior an act of domestic terrorism and argued that the ICE agent who fired did so in self-defense after the woman allegedly attempted to use her vehicle as a weapon. After the incident, Noem traveled to Minneapolis and reiterated that federal law enforcement must be defended, stressing that attacks on agents would not be tolerated. She also criticized local leaders and sanctuary policies, asserting that they emboldened dangerous behavior. Despite the federal narrative, local leaders and eyewitnesses sharply dispute key elements of the government's version of events. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey rejected the self-defense justification, calling the claim "bulls," and arguing that video he viewed did not support the federal account. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz similarly urged caution, warning the public against accepting a propaganda machine narrative without thorough investigation. Witness reports cited by local media suggest that Good's vehicle may not have been moving aggressively toward agents at the moment shots were fired, contrary to law enforcement descriptions. Additionally, community members and protesters have described Good as unarmed and nonviolent, with some videos shared on social media appearing to contradict elements of the federal claim. The fatal shooting has ignited protests and put a spotlight on the broader conflict between local jurisdictions and federal immigration enforcement. Demonstrations remained ongoing in Minneapolis and other cities following the incident, with calls for accountability and a reevaluation of federal operations within city limits. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are debating the implications of the shooting, with some criticizing ICE's tactics and others backing stronger protections for federal agents. An investigation into the shooting has been launched, involving the FBI and Minnesota's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, as authorities work to reconcile conflicting accounts. The Minneapolis ICE shooting has quickly become a flashpoint in national discussions about federal law enforcement, immigration policy, and public safety. With sharply opposing narratives from federal officials and local authorities and contradictory witness accounts, the case is likely to remain in the spotlight as investigations continue and public debate intensifies.